All right, so Yahoo Finance, U.S. tariff revenue down. U.S. tariff revenue dropped by over 4 billion in March. It's down almost 30% since October. Tariff revenue totaling 22.15 billion came into the U.S. covers coffers in March. Yet another monthly decline after President Trump backtracked on some duties, and the U.S. Supreme Court struck down others as illegal. The new figures from the Treasury Department monthly statement showed a notable downtick from the 26.59 billion collected in February. Their reading is the fifth consecutive monthly decline and marks a nearly 30% drop from last October, when monthly tariff revenue peaked at 31.5 billion. Friday's release also shows that the U.S. ran a budget deficit of 1.169 trillion between October and March, the first 6 months of the fiscal year. These massive deficits, including 164 billion in March alone, also continue to far outstrip tariff revenues, despite frequent claims from the president that his duties are balancing the budget. Uh, so, and on top of that, it's stated here. What I really find interesting about this one is that they collected 30% less, totaling 22.1 billion in March, and the U.S. ran a deficit, which is nothing new. Ran a deficit of 1.1 trillion dollars, and I believe I don't know why I didn't look it up, but one, that's already not looking good. Second, recently, let's see if I can find it. Yeah, there's reports that there's going to be a refund for the tariffs because they were deemed illegal, but they were still collected anyways. So now they have to be issued back. Yeah. So, I don't know if I trust that website. We're gonna ignore that. But again, we've seen this. We saw this coming. We've seen this all before. You've stated it. You don't believe in tariffs. I stated it that I do believe in tariffs, but not this way. And well, I mean, we're both right. We have, as I stated, we have like no competition over here. So all the tariffs are being put are being put onto the American consumer because there's no competition from outside the United States. Um, and on that, tariffs are a form of a trade restriction that generally reduces the efficiency of all other countries simultaneously, and lowers the overall standard of living. Uh, we'll get to that in a second because we do have a inflation report. But not only that, my thing is like with the refunds being implemented, that is already going down, and we're already in a deficit. It's going to go down even further, which affects the general population because we're going to be paying for that because the money's already spent. We're in a deficit. The money's spent, so it's gonna you know it's gonna be put on us, and which will probably surge inflation a bit because the government needs to make more money than it's taking in now to make up for the tariff refunds. And a refund for a tariff effectively functions as a government subsidy. The subsidies cause prices to mistake the relative scarcity of things and the values that users place on them. While a refund may lower the price of a company pays to the government, it does not change the actual cost of production, such as labor, raw materials, transportation, in the slightest. Instead, though, part of those costs are simply shifted to be paid through taxes and government debt. Yeah, that's stated. It's gonna be put on us. Your prices are going to go up on your stuff. So, I mean, as I stated, I'm not anti-tariff. I know you don't like tariffs. I'm not anti-tariff, but just slapping on tariffs with no plan B.
Uh huh.
I mean, I didn't get voted as president, but I'm not 35, and I don't want to be in charge of a bunch of morons. But you know what I mean? Like,
But there's the rub. You either are in charge of the morons, or the morons are in charge of you.
ah, too right. I don't know. I don't know how you combat that then, but and
But
yeah,
yeah,
you
this
go.
this is I agree. This is pretty unsurprising for anyone who's been monitoring the situation, as it were. Yeah, it was pretty obvious that a lot of this stuff was just kind of slammed through in the hopes that like the pushback would die before they could basically say no. And it was if like that was a probably significantly less than 10% chance likelihood of happening because like the power of the purse is with the president. If you want to pass through tariffs, you got to get them through Congress. The president just doesn't get to slap stuff onto the economy and be like, well, it's happening now. I mean, he
Mm-hmm.
can't, but then it'll just get ruled illegal like it was now. And they'll have to do this, huge, you have to walk it back, which is a worse position to be in than having never done them in the first place, probably. Um, and it's just a bad look all around, I think. And again, for anyone monitoring the situation, this was a known high likelihood outcome. Um, yeah, that's really about it. It was this most I feel like a lot of people, even people were like yourself who were pro-tariff, saw this coming because it's like the way this was implemented was foolish and perhaps unwise. Similar. This is sort of like the uh, ironically, I guess, similar to a lot of the arguments that was it Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the Supreme Court justice, made about the Roe v. Wade ruling, where they're like, oh, doing this through the courts is the wrong way to do this. This should be done legislatively. Um, in a similar fashion, doing this through the executive is the wrong way to do this. This should be done legislatively because if you do it this way, if you do it the wrong way, it's really easy to get it overturned, and then it's really difficult to ever get it unoverturned because now you've permanently poisoned that thing, or you've permanently, made anyone who. Because I don't think you could be an American president for like the next probably 10 or like two to five cycles and say the words tariffs without everyone going, oh, a president
Mm-hmm.
talking about
Yeah.
tariffs again. It's like, great, now everyone wants to talk about this. Same thing with like Doge. I don't think the way Doge went about handling, I have my own opinions about how government inefficiency works and what it looks like, but the way Doge went about it was like, man, it's just now, if you are someone who wants to run on, hey, let's rein in federal spending because it is nuts, or let's try to figure this problem out, whether that's increase revenues, whether that's reduce spending, or change spending to maybe we're not reducing spending, but the money is getting used more efficiently, right? So instead of X many billion dollars just sort of evaporating into thin air, that happens less often, right? So any kind of like budget changes you might want to make in the future, or budget alterations or conversations surrounding government efficiency are now like permanently poisoned because what was the kid's name? Like Big Balls thought it was
Oh
didn't think
yeah.
that the U.S.
Uh-huh.
Forest Service was valuable. And it's like, all right, well, great. Now we've just permanently poisoned this conversation moving forward forever.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not forever, but for at least probably the next few cycles. Um, but yeah, that's a bit. I think the tariff stuff is unsurprising.
Oh yeah, and you stated about future cycles, about for next few presidents, what's called throwing the word tariff out there. It's probably going to be hit with a negative connotation. And I have a note here that like this is Trump's last term. He's going to throw everything he can. That's probably why we got tariffs in the first 6 months, because it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm willing to bet that he did throw the tariff out there to try to like bolster the economy, at least in his mind, the way he thinks it's going to happen.
Hmm.
He thinks it's going to happen, and then bam, it's good. And worst case scenario, it's bad. He's not running for re-election. I don't think he actually cares about the future, future Republican parties or whatever. It was an idea for him. He threw it out there. Dumb. I probably need to be thought through more. Um, So again, he doesn't care. Like politicians have a habit of making decisions now, not caring what happens in the future, because either A, they know people are going to vote for them no matter what, or B, if they're not going to vote for them, it's not their problem anymore.
True.
and well, hold on a second. So I do have some notes here about the refund itself. It's like, let's see. So for every dollar refunded to a company to a company represents an allocation of scarce resources that have alternative uses. In economics, the true cost of a government expenditure is the foregone opportunity. The billions of dollars directed towards tariff refunds could have gone could have been used for other purposes such as reducing national debt, not happening, refunding infrastructure, lowering general tax rates. If the government takes money from one place, aka you all, the taxpayers, the bondholders, and transfers it to other places, such as the companies getting the refund, because you're not getting the refund. I'm not getting the refund. You're not getting the refund. The people listening are not getting the refund. We're not getting any of this, even though we've bought the products that got increased because of tariff. We're not getting the refund. It's the companies. So at the end of the day, they're benefiting because they know that they can charge a higher price, we'll pay for it, and now they get a refund. So yeah, when the money goes from the taxpayers to the companies, that's a loss of purchasing power for the general public because one, taxes got to go up to pay back the companies. Companies are already received extra money from us because we paid for that. We've shown that we paid for that. It's kind of like, what was it? I don't want to bring video games involved, but it's like the horse armor DLC in Oblivion. We'll pay $2.50. Well, they know we'll pay $2.50 for some armor in a video game for a horse. How much further we can get? Now we have $25 cosmetic skin DLCs in Call of Duty and Battlefield.
Uh-huh.
It's that slippery slope. But as we stated, we saw this coming. We hoped it wasn't coming, but hope only gets you so far when it comes to politicians and stuff like this. But so, unless something changes, it's kind of easy to expect that prices are going to go up. Because of taxes, naturally. So prepare for that. All right, and